it's one thing to score a goal. It's another thing to score the kind of goal you scored against United. The field was slippery. He tried to get the ball went through his hands, boom, and you could just tell from the body language of Onana, whom we all know is a leader in that defense, which is probably one of the reasons why Maguire is still on the bench, is because Onana took it to him in the preseason. So,
If you're Chioma.
Oh.
Transit TV, welcome to Transit UEFA show. This one we're looking at the participation of English teams in Europe this week. We know City was at home to Red Star Belgrade. Arsenal was at home to PSV. Manchester United traveled to Bayern Munich. And of course, Newcastle was in Italy against AC Milan. So we're going to look at those games and how they panned out. Looking at especially United, Bayern Munich, Arsenal, PSV. We're going to look at them in details and run through the other ones. And the second leg of the show will be a preview of a few games on the EPL this weekend coming up. So it's a packed and loaded show. With me today, I have Justice back again. My man Shaba, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and Sai is here too. Sai is back again. I was with him yesterday at the game, watching the Arsenal PSV game. It was a very good day. We had fun.
Yeah, what a crazy game.
To the show. My man Ugum, of course, my partner in crime, always reliable, always available. Here again to give us. I know he hasn't slept since yesterday. Reminiscing over the Arsenal win. Although you're going to lead the conversation today, I know you can't wait to get into details about that game. So, guys, Shaba is here representing Manchester United. I know today he's not as angry as he was the last time. Hopefully. Then Chioma will be joining us to look at Chelsea as well for the upcoming games this weekend. Our viewers, I remind you once again, don't get carried away enjoying the show. Remember to subscribe and share our content. And as well, don't be shy, get busy in the comment section. Let us know what you feel about the show, about our conversations, our views, and our opinions. Let's know your own opinion. Let's get busy, and let's enjoy it together. We'll be very soon. We'll start picking up some comments and discussing them in the next shows. So get busy, and let us know what you think, guys. We're going to start from this one. I think let's rush through. City was at home to Red Star Belgrade, and surprisingly, these guys came to Etihad and they were not scared, and they got a goal. It was beginning to look shaky for City, but of course, many will say now that the new City will always come through, but it was not looking that way. Very well deep into the game. And of course, City came back and did what they normally do. Ugum, do you have any thoughts on that game? Did you see any part of it?
Yeah, I saw some parts of it. City started rather a bit slowly. Ended up even conceding, before they decided to come back full pelt as they do. They had to play, what's his name, the Argentine player, the forward,
Alvarez.
Martinez?
Alvarez.
Yes. They paired him with the extraterrestrial man himself, Haaland, and they went full pelt. The only sore point for them was Bernardo Silva leaving the game, having sustained an injury. That guy is very, very important to City. But like City has proved over the years, when they lose a player, you think they're going to go down.
Somebody steps up.
Somebody steps up, yeah. So if you're a rival and you're rejoicing that, they've lost a player, You'll be surprised by what will happen.
Please don't come too fast
in the next game.
Right.
Yeah, so the typical City, they attacked really well in the second half, and now again every year somebody in City steps off and takes his game to the next level. Now we're all celebrating Gundogan leaving. Now Rodri has become the highest goal scorer in City. He scores goals with such ease, and you're wondering, I mean, this guy, it comes naturally to him, and he now has a license. The goal he scored, the way he placed that ball, I don't know how many forwards in Europe or attacking mids can place the ball the way he placed that ball. Very few people could see that gap he saw, and he put that ball in there, and the goalkeeper couldn't do anything about it. He just used the player standing in front of the keeper as screens to just guide the ball and placed it well. And this is not the first time Rodri has scored some, amazing goals. So he's now the man to watch. You would think you have all your forwards shackled. Rodri shows up at the edge of your 18. It's a constant threat. That's another threat that City possesses. So yeah, they did what they usually do, and of course they won the game.
Okay, yeah, that's that for City. There's no need wasting too much time on that. Another very interesting game this midweek was Newcastle going to AC Milan. Shaba, did you see that game in any
So I got a chance to watch glimpses of it. The City Belgrade game, I didn't want to waste my time because I pretty much knew how that was going to go. Nothing against Belgrade, but I mean, we all know City is one of those teams that when their backs against the wall, they'll come out swinging and they will put you down. The Newcastle AC Milan game, I was pleasantly surprised that AC Milan took the fight. Sorry, that Newcastle took the fight to them. Considering that AC Milan has been somewhat regular in Europe. This is the first time that Newcastle was going back in a very long time.
25,
Newcastle,
27 years, yeah.
There you go, right? Newcastle hasn't been in Champions League in a very long time. So a lot of those players that played for Newcastle, they were making their debut. And even the coach was making his debut as a gaffer in the Champions League. So to see that they went all the way to Italy, and we all know that AC Milan right now with the reinforcements they have with Loftus-Cheek, with Captain
Pulisic.
America,
Pulisic,
yeah.
Chukwueze.
So now that was one that surprised me, that Chukwueze got the nod over Pulisic, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I was actually kind of shocked. I feel it was a tactical switch, but I expected that Pulisic was going to start the game. Of course, on the left-hand side is the Portuguese high flyer, Rafael Leao. And I was surprised that Newcastle was able to stand their ground and get away with a point. Now they take it back to England, and I don't think AC Milan is going to be as lucky.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. Oh, for Chukwueze, I think one of the reasons probably they played that. Actually, that was his first start for the season, though.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he's been playing. I think probably the coach felt that playing in Europe will suit him better than in Italy, and I think he wasn't exceptionally good, but he gave a very good account of himself. Some mistimings here and there. Then back to overall view over the game. Newcastle actually came out from the blocks first 5-10 minutes. Yeah. Then, of course, AC Milan brought it back on them, pushed them back. They were just AC Milan had a lot of chances in that game. I think they had themselves to blame right now, for not taking those chances. And back to the guy you're talking about, the Portuguese Rafael. That guy is so frustrating. That's the thing, the difference between talent and people top players. They do it week in, week out. They do it minute in, minute out. But this guy, sometimes his body language feels like he's not even interested in what is going on in the pitch. He just comes alive when he decides to. At some point, AC Milan fans were even like getting on his back and like, hey, bro, we needed to do to do something. I'm not an AC Milan fan, but at some point I was like, this guy can't, if you don't want to play, get out of the pitch. And the coach wouldn't sub him. That's what happens when you have these players that have magical abilities. As a coach, you always feel that they might come up at one moment and just win you the game. So you keep hanging on that hope.
One moment
and
of class.
Exactly. At the end of the day, the game will finish. Tonali had a very return back to San Siro. He had a very, very good game and was subbed about 10 minutes to the end of the game. I think I saw him on the bench carrying eyes on his ankle. AC Milan had a good game. They pushed Newcastle back. They created chances, but they couldn't take them. Newcastle, on the other hand, did a very good job of hanging in there. They tried to defend very well. But the problem Newcastle has is transition. When they win the ball, they can't keep it. And that reminds me what I've been saying about them. Newcastle today, they are expansive. Tomorrow, they're playing low blocks. The coach needs to decide what he wants to do and drill the team, well on it. So that if they're going to be a kind of a counter attacking team, let it be known that let it be your way.
Identity.
You can't be going from today you're counter attacking, tomorrow you want to open up the game. Sometimes it causes confusion to the players. Sometimes you can sit a little bit and surrender possession to opponent. That's not low block. But when you come into a game and you just decide to just defend and wait on counter, then if that's going to be your style, they need to have an idea. It can't just be all over the place. I think it's confusing to the players because if you look at Newcastle right now, I think they are well squadded to give any team a run for their money either ways, either by going toe-to-toe or being a low block team. So I don't know what Eddie Howe is planning to do with that team. But from just like from what you said, taking from there, Newcastle didn't do badly. Though, sometimes football too is not truthful because of the
True.
the scoreline. Because if they similar had taken 2 or 3 of their chances, may probably will be saying something different right now. But I mean, this 0-0 is 0-0. They go back home, and by the time AC Milan is coming back, probably they'll get a result. So it's just it was just there. There wasn't anything very spectacular about that game that we talk about. So that's the way I saw it. Then we look at Chaba, let's get to Old Trafford right quick.
Old Trafford or Bayern?
Sorry, Alliance Arena.
Yeah.
Alliance Arena, yes. You guys went away. I forgot. Onana, Rashford, and the goals that you guys got. Talk us through how that game was. I don't even know. Bayern was a little bit careless. I don't know if I'm going to say United were too open or they didn't give up. Either way, it depends on how you want to talk. You want to see United performance in that game. What's your take?
So the last time I was on the show, we had talked about Bayern, Man U, and I was convinced that Bayern was going to wipe the floor with Man U. But then I watched the game that Bayern played against Leverkusen, and I was surprised how open Bayern was, right? And I said to myself, this Bayern is not the same Bayern that I remember. The Bayern that beat Barcelona 8-2 or thereabouts in the Champions League semifinals on their run to their championship. But getting to the game, I actually had hope that Man U, I mean, we'd lost 2 in a row. There was all this reports about a scuffle in the locker room. And I was thinking, okay, there's going to be a fire lit under their belly and Bayern was going to pay the price. And the first, 5-10 minutes, same old story. United was playing very well, moving the ball around, using the flanks while Rashford was actually tracking back and winning balls back. And then Bayern scored a goal that just demoralized the team. It's one thing to score a goal. It's another thing to score the kind of goal you scored against United. The field was slippery. He tried to get the ball went through his hands. boom. And you could just tell from the body language of Onana, whom we all know is a leader in that defense, which is probably one of the reasons why Maguire is still on the bench, is because Onana took it to him in the preseason. So when the leader in your defense puts his head down, the defenders now have to come cheer him up to get him going. You know it's going to be a very long night, especially when you're playing away. But all in all, United actually surprised me. The fact that they kept fighting. The goals weren't pretty, and like you said, the scoreline did not actually tell the whole tale of the game because Bayern had multiple chances that could have iced the game. But I love the fact that they kept fighting. They kept fighting, and they cut down the deficit. It wasn't an embarrassing loss. It was a loss nonetheless. But you go to Allianz Stadium and you put 3 against Bayern Munich, you can come out with your head held high. So all in all, I was actually pretty satisfied with the results. Not satisfied with the performance. Not satisfied with the results, but satisfied with the performance.
Yes. So did you watch that game?
Not really, because we were watching the Arsenal game, so I tried to follow up. Like I was checking out the updates, and yeah, I was just like, it's 0-0 till 30th minute, I think. And right after that, or right around then, they scored, and I was like, okay, that's what I wanted. Bayern to score. Yeah, it was actually, I predicted that they would score 4 goals, and they scored 4, and I was like, United might come back with a draw, so it was almost like 4-all. So yeah, United almost got there. I'm sure they played really well, because to score, as he said, as Justice said, that they scored like 3 goals. I feel it's a really big deal to go away at the stadium and score 3 for any team. It could be any team for sure. So yeah.
Did you see any parts of that game? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I saw the highlights, and Chief Justice said the right thing. I mean, he called the game as it was. The only thing I want to add is that Bayern Munich this year, like he said, are not the Bayern Munich that we've been used to in recent years.
Yeah.
The team isn't quite as strong, not even quite. It isn't as strong as it used to be. They have issues in their defense. They also have issues in their attack, not minding that Harry Kane is there, because he's still building understanding with the likes of Musiala and the rest of them. I see this guy, Sonny, as a potential problem for them. Sonny is a petulant player, not the best of team players. I can see why he gets into issues because of his personality, and I can see why Pep got rid of him real fast. He's a very gifted player, but very, very selfish and very petulant. I've seen quite a few games that I'm watching him and like, Sonny, pass the ball. You're not the only forward in the team. Your team is full of good forwards. Play with your teammates. Don't try to take all the glory all the time. That's what I see in the way he plays. And it might be a problem for them at Bayern. And then even with the gifted athletic defenders that they have, this guy is not getting a look in. De Ligt, who was one of their best defenders, I hear he was the best defender in the Bundesliga last year. He's not getting a look in because the Korean guy is partnering Upamecano.
Kim Jae.
Kim Jae is solid. Upamecano, nope, not solid at all. Very athletic, very solid in terms of his build, but in terms of keeping the ball on the floor and doing the actual defending against solid forwards, he lacks. So Bayern can be gotten at if you have the courage to get at them. They're still using Muller and still getting something from him. So they're not quite as strong. I think it's all about the mind now for anybody playing against them. I actually fear that United will get something out of that game. And yes, as Chief Justice said, that the scoreline didn't quite reflect the chances. Yes, Bayern may have gotten more chances, but Bayern are definitely gettable and winnable this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I agree with you guys, but there's something that you guys have not mentioned that I think is a big factor for Bayern, which is their coach Thomas Tuchel. I remember when he was in Chelsea, in EPL we have this problem that once a rival fan is talking about your club, he doesn't want to hear. He just think it's banter. It's not always banter. I've never really rated Tuchel like that. People say he won Champions League. I understand that, but I mean Chelsea was already halfway into the competition that year. He probably played 2 or 3 games and won the trophy. Credit to him, yes, but I don't think his first full season in Chelsea. The next season, we all know what happened. By mid that season, the team fell apart. He continued to the next one, and he got fired. They had the same issue in PSG. I know people will say most coaches don't survive in PSG. So I think because Bayern didn't really lose a lot of players. I added Harry Kane to it. Then why shouldn't the team be strong? I mean, this is a team that was solid against City last season in semi-finals. So I don't think there should be they should be having this kind of issues. And from some of the things that you've highlighted there, Ugum, those are things that has to do with the setup of the team because you have good players in Bayern. You have good players in Bayern, so it depends on how the coach sets them up. So I think Thomas Tuchel needs to do a little bit more. I mean, Harry Kane is a goal machine, and he has been scoring and assisting goals. So probably, like you said, it's possible you can call them a slag. They're still trying to get to know each other. But I mean, Harry Kane is not new to this game. He pretty much plays well anywhere he finds himself. So I don't see any reason why Bayern should be struggling. I mean, they scored 4 goals. Then the goals they conceded, I don't know if you guys saw them. They were all careless goals, very, very careless.
Very careless, yeah.
Very elementary goals, so and that has to be called out. Like you have said, if anybody is playing Bayern and you defend very well and have the courage to go at them, you can get something out of the game. So let's move to Arsenal. And this one obviously was going to be an intriguing one. Arsenal has been in Champions League for 6 seasons now. It's a debut Champions League game for Mikel Arteta. Debut for a lot of, I think about 6 starters in that team yesterday. It was their first Champions League game. So for me personally, I was reflecting before the game. I was trying to wonder how they were going to handle the emotions of, being debutants to the league. I remember last season when Gary Neville was talking about the emotions Arsenal players, the fans, and the coaches were showing when they were leading in the league. As at that time, I must confess, I raised my hands up. I was asking myself, what was he talking about? These guys are, but looking back now, I now understand what he was saying because at some point, those players were getting carried away by what was going on, and immediately there was a kind of a blip in their form. Those emotions evaporated, and that was what happened. So yesterday, I was worried about how both Arteta, both the players were going to handle the emotions of playing in Champions League for the first time. Arteta, of course, playing in the Champions League for the first time as a manager. But I think they came into the game and handled those emotions very well. So let me ask you, sir, when the lineup came out, one of the things everybody, in fact, I'm sure anybody that has any platform online that brought out that lineup when it came out would have hit millions of views because every Arsenal fan worldwide wanted to go see who was going to start in goal. And of course, obviously, Kaihavertz as well, if he was going to start ahead of Fabio Vieira. So, sir, what was your own thought when the lineups came out and Raya was in goal ahead of Rambo and Kaihavertz was starting ahead of Kaihavertz ahead of Fabio Vieira? What was your thought? Was it okay by you or you felt, what was your thinking?
So in these 2 games he started, I honestly feel like we are more stable at the back with him. I mean, I'm not saying Ramsdale is not good enough or something like that, I just feel that with him, our defense line is more calm and we're just more stable, at the back overall. And when it comes to due to Martinelli's injury, so Trossard, we had to start him anyway.
Mhm.
And I hope Martinelli comes back. And what a game it was! Like the first goal, Saka. We were just talking about him that he's not, like doing enough. I mean, again, he's not that bad, but we were expecting more from him, and he scores our first Champions League goal, which is great. And then that Trossard finish, I was so satisfied at that point already because the way we were playing, it was like, as I said, we were more stable with David Raya. So I was like, after going 2-0 up, I'm sure, like, I was damn sure that we are not losing this game anymore. And it's 3 points no matter what.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I could also see that, we might not even concede the way we played in the first half itself. I wasn't even worried that we are conceding in second half or something like that. I was so confident that it's going to be like at least 3 goals. The way I mean, I'm talking about the first half, the way we played,
Mhm.
and I was sure that in second half we're going to see some more action from the team, and that happened. So I'm so proud of the team the way we started our campaign.
Mhm.
I feel, yeah, that's the most we can expect out of this fixture as a fan, and we got it. So I'm
Yeah.
really happy about that.
Let me touch base with you. What was your thought? Did you expect David Raya to start ahead of Ramsdale? And of course, we talked about Jesus and Nketiah. Nketiah hasn't really put a foot wrong, but I mean, Jesus is Jesus. What did you make of the starting lineup?
Raya was the only surprise for me in the lineup, because I thought Ramsdale was gonna start. But in any case, I also thought, listen, at a point you have to give these two keepers games. I expected that Raya was gonna start a game this week, be it league or Champions League. So it wasn't a major surprise that he got started, but it was a surprise though because I didn't expect him to start. Um, so it was a good one. I think it was an inspired choice. But apart from that, Jesus wasn't a surprise to me. I think Nketiah, of course, has earned the right to represent Arsenal, but Jesus remains the top-rated striker, and Nketiah remains, an option, like the manager would say. So, yeah, I thought the starting lineup was pretty solid, and they proved it.
Yeah, did you have chance to look at the highlights, or do you
I
have any thoughts on the game? I know
so
we are playing the
when
same time.
Yeah, when I got a chance to watch the highlights, and of course, every single highlight was, except maybe one or two, were all frames of Arsenal attacking and Arsenal punishing PSV. But when the lineup came out, I made a comment to a fellow Arsenal fan, and I said, you don't make your Champions League debut as a coach with a backup goalie. Right? I'm about to say something that might be controversial, but I've watched Raya twice in goal for Arsenal. I watched him all day long for Brentford. There's just something about him now wearing those Arsenal colors. He's as comfortable as it gets. Ramsdale, I mean, I never really thought of a goalie whenever I saw Ramsdale. Maybe because I always saw him in Arsenal post. But watching Raya tender the goal for Arsenal, I just don't see how Ramsey is going to take that position away from him. Right? He's as calm as they get. He doesn't fumble the ball. He doesn't parry the ball away for a corner kick or for a goal kick or put it into a dangerous area. And then let's talk about the passing. With his foot, he's about as good as Edison is. So I think Arteta coming back into Champions League, guiding this young group of players after what 6 or 7 seasons, and bringing them back into Champions League, and you playing at home, you want to make a statement. And that statement is bringing in who you believe is going to be your number one goalie moving forward. And David Raya is the man. So me seeing that, I was already on the fence, thinking it was going to be between Raya and Ramsdale in the sense that whoever he chooses is going to be the number one moving forward. For him making that choice and me watching the highlights and seeing just how calm Raya was and how he controlled his line, Raya is the man moving forward.
Yeah. For me, like I don't know if you saw my interview after the game. I said it that if maybe people have forgotten, before Arsenal went for Ramsdale, Arteta had already gone for David Raya of Brentford. Then Brentford was asking for 40 million or 46 million then. Arsenal tried their best and they didn't want to sell. They actually didn't want to sell him, but they just said, "Look, if you bring 40 million, we'll let him go." And he wanted to come to Arsenal, but that deal didn't come true. Then Arteta went for Ramsdale. So apparently, opportunity presented itself again, and now he has gone back to get his man. So he has always been a first choice for Arteta, though. Then secondly, I was reminding my fellow Arsenal fans that if you remember Ben Leno, this was exactly how it panned out for him as well. He was good for Arsenal. That is, in fact, he kept us, playing behind Mustafi and Socrates in the defense. Arsenal was facing an average of 19 shots per game, and he kept us in that in the league pretty much almost throughout that season. Second half of the season, he got injured and Ramsdale, saw through the end of the season, and that was how he lost his play. By the next season, Arteta told him, he prefers Ramsdale, and that's how Leno left Arsenal. Now he's playing in Fulham. So when you're looking at this now, it looks like, he's repeating himself again. So I won't be surprised by end of this season, Ramsdale leaving Arsenal. So to be honest, I was expecting Ramsdale in goal. I thought Arteta would kind of be loyal to Ramsdale. I said, okay, you are one of the guys that fought for this qualification. Let's give you your chance for the first game. Probably that was why he played David Raya the last two games, so that Ramsdale will come in for the Champions League. So when I saw Ramsdale in bench, I wasn't overly surprised, but I was a little bit worried because these are some of the things that causes distraught in
the locker room
camp, and before you know it, things start to fall apart. I don't know how this selection was done. I don't know how he has managed to handle the spirit in camp. Another thing I saw that did very well yesterday was, luckily for him and good for the team, like Sarah said, first half we were 3 goals up. So he gave him the opportunity to give a lot of players a runner, because players like ESI and Mispiro haven't even had a minute this season. Rhys Nelson, these are all academy playing graduates that fans, have connection with. So I was wondering if they were going to get minutes in this game. So luckily for Arteta, the team was very comfortable at I think it was the 65th or 60th minute. For the first time, he started making changes. So everything worked out well for us now in that game. Ugu, let me ask you, I know PSV, remember when we were previewing the game, PSV is a team that has always been difficult for Arsenal. In the last 6 meetings, they beat Arsenal twice, one at the Emirates, one at their ground. Arsenal has beat them twice, then 2 draws. So it is a kind of bogey team to Arsenal. But still, I was surprised that they came to Emirates and they were expansive, they were open, and they tried to go with Arsenal 2-2. What did you make about that approach?
Well, I think it was pretty adventurous. I was really impressed by PSV. Just like I was impressed with them last season when Arsenal played in their stadium, and even when they came to the Emirates. They are a well-drilled side. Last season, they were coached by the very smart Van Nistelrooy. He did a great job coaching them last year. I wonder why he left the team. Maybe there were differences at the boardroom level. I don't know, but he was doing a really good job. So I was impressed by their approach to the game. It was a bit risky because, of course, Arsenal have more established and more experienced players, and going out all attack and matching them attack for attack wasn't probably the wisest thing to do, but it was bold. And I appreciated that, and I respect that. They came out to play. Bakayoko, their right winger, was superb.
Yeah.
Gave Zinchenko a really hard time. They missed that superb talent that really finished Arsenal last year. That's now playing for
PSG. I think it's
RB Leipzig. What's his name again? The
Simeon.
Dutch boy. Simon, Xavi Simons. Yeah.
Mhm.
So they missed him. Of course, he's no longer there. But when I saw the likes of Luke De Jong as their striker, I was like, okay, I think Arsenal can get this done. De Jong is not, cannot be a major
Young.
threat.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but yeah, I admire the fact that they came out to play. They apparently they had scored 24, 26 goals or so in their 9 games so far. They are leading the Dutch league, Eredivisie. And so that shows you that they have very strong pedigree and they came in good form. And fair play to them. When you're in good form, you want to come out and show what you can do. And that's what they try to do. But unfortunately, they make the stronger side.
Yeah,
I like how diplomatic he sounds. Say they made the stronger side. I would have said he got punished. I said he got punished. I just let it go. You're so diplomatic with your responses.
So I was going to add that I don't know what you guys think. It looks like, before, up to this moment in the league, Arsenal looks a little bit not, I don't know. Last season there's this guy Arsenal was playing with. They were blowing things away and coming out from the blocks, and before you know it, they are 1, 2, 3 goals. It looks like this season, I don't know if it's a case of teams figuring, being respectful to Arsenal a little bit more and being more compact against Arsenal in the league, or them, having a controlled performance. But in this game, it looks like the way Arsenal wants to play suits them more in Europe. Do you think this might be an advantage for them in the Champions League this season, considering how they blew PSV away? Because if they maintain the quality and the tempo they played with yesterday, like we're talking about Bayern earlier on, if Arsenal is going to play against Bayern, I won't be worried, because they lose that there are gaps and space, all over the pitch for these guys to try. I don't know what you guys think. Do you think it's going to be Arsenal? The way Arsenal is playing now is more, suitable in Europe than the EPL. So, what's your thought?
So when it comes to Champions League, I would say if I'm scared of any team right now, it's gonna be Real Madrid or Man City. That's pretty much it. Because I feel the way we have transformed recently, we are on some good level for sure. And from here, it's just getting better. And I'm sure winning on Sunday. So next up is the chickens. So we go to have some roasted chicken on Sunday for sure. It's really, I feel that's such an important game every season, no matter what.
Of course.
We started our Champions League campaign with a 4-0 win and going on to NLD. Winning this game, I feel we can reach to a different level. I mean, even get better from here, because I see more, as we spoke about our goalkeeper, Raya. So I see, more stability with him at the back, and um, I'm not worried about Arsenal, making defensive mistakes now, I'm sure we're gonna get better defensively overall, because now we have Declan as the defensive midfielder and our back four, and I'm so looking forward for Timber to come back and just jump onto the starting 11, because I watched him play, and with that lineup, with those back four, I mean Timber, Gabriel, and then Saliba, Ben White, Tomiyasu, goalkeeper Raya, and Declan Rice up front. I think we're going to do great this season. We're going to see a lot more from the team, I'm sure.
So who do you think Timber is going to replace when he gets back? Because the team looks pretty solid right now. So I'm just
I asked
curious.
the same question yesterday when we were talking about it, and I think he's just going to be a backup, because what Zinchenko does for that team, there's no way Arteta is going to. Yeah, and he's fit. Unless he's not fit, if Zinchenko is fit, he starts the game. And of course, Saliba and Gabriel, if they are fit, they are first choice in that central defense.
That's for
The,
sure.
the
Yeah.
kind of performance Ben White has been churning out since he came to Arsenal. He gets better after every game. So I don't think anybody takes anybody's position in that back four, except there's an injury or somebody that needs to be rested. Then Timber can come in. That's my take on that one.
So he's not going to
Could be
come
that
into.
way.
He's
I
not going
mean,
to come
not
into.
like straight up, but like once he's back, I would be like really excited, to just
Yeah,
watch
of
him
course,
play
yeah, to
for us.
sure.
And
Like yesterday, they brought in Tomiyasu to see how the game after Zinchenko did his job. Probably he would be first choice to come in. And you never know. Like yesterday, Ben White was carrying a yellow card from the first half. So if we had Timber and Tomiyasu, probably Timber will replace Zinchenko, while Tomiyasu will go to the right back, and then Ben White can get a rest or something like that.
So some games you play Timber. I think because he got injured, we quickly forgot what he offered in a couple of games that he played.
No,
You see,
if you remember,
I think Zinchenko.
if you remember, I told you that playing Timber makes us solid behind. But what Zinchenko does for Arsenal is not defending. He's
very creative.
very integral
that's right.
to
That's
how we
right.
attack.
For sure.
That's
So
what I was
remember
about to.
exactly. Remember I told you that when we didn't have him, we didn't have Gabriel. All those left-footed, line breaking passes, we lacked them in the first 2-3 games. Once he came back, our game started becoming more open. So it's going to be difficult to have him fit and not start a game.
We haven't seen Timber in the attacking element that much. We saw what he could do with the ball. He's a very good user of the ball, right? Yes, I know Zinchenko is all that and all that and all that, but Zinchenko is not going to start every game. He's not going to start every game. Some games he's not fit. Even if he's fit, he will not probably be the best to use in those games. As much as he passes all the passes and all that, I think that many of the things he does. What's his name again? Timber.
No.
Timber can offer.
No.
We'll be watching now. When he gets fit.
Saliba is good on the ball, but that's good on the ball of a defender. He can never compare defenders good on the ball with a midfielders good on the ball. They're completely different kind of ability. Zinchenko, man, that guy.
We'll have the. I don't see Timber as a defender. Timber is just a converted defender. Timber is a midfielder that was converted to play defense. You know that, right?
Even if he's a midfielder, he's a defensive midfielder. He's not the same as an attacking midfielder. Zinchenko plays as a 10 for his country, and he played 10 in mancity as well. So in some games, so he's a complete attacking midfielder that was converted to a left back and converted left back. So I'm not saying Timber is not a good player, but I'm saying going forward, he's nowhere close to what Zinchenko can do for us. So that's my take.
My take is that he's somewhere close. He's nothing like he's nowhere close. He's somewhere close to what Zinchenko offers us.
It's not. You're about to say something.
I hope he gets.
Yeah, I was gonna say, looking at it from you guys are all Arsenal fans. Looking at it from a rival point, I personally preferred Timber on the field only because of how rash he was the first two games that he played. I don't know if he was too eager to impress or if he just didn't understand the way Arteta wanted the game played. Zinchenko, on the other hand, brings a sense of calm and stability into that position. He's able to understand that he plays left back, but then also comes into the middle and he's able to throw those passes. I don't see Timber being able to do that. And now that we're 5 games into the season, going on the 6th game, it's now that teams want to start stamping their authority. And Arsenal is doing very well. They're still undefeated. If I might be wrong, but I believe they're still undefeated.
You're right. You just said
there you go. Yeah, and after what they did after the clinic they put on PSV, I don't see, if Timber was to come back today, I think he would have to wait for an unfortunate event to happen to one of the other players to get a chance to prove himself. And even at that, I just don't see him being able to replicate what Zinchenko is currently doing right now.
Yeah, I believe so too. Yeah. I think we've done justice to that game. And so, guys, that's how the English teams performed in Europe this midweek. We have talked about City, winning Red Star Belgrade. Of course, United went to Alliance Arena in Germany and came home with a 4-3 defeat. Newcastle gave a good account of themselves in Italy, 0-0 draw with AC Milan in San Siro. Of course, Arsenal had a very good night return to Champions League at the Emirates. Debut game for Arteta as a manager, debut game for about 6 players in Arsenal, and they gave a very good account of themselves, won that one 4-0. It was a very good night at the Emirates, and it's all looking good at the Emirates right now. And that's how the English teams did well. 4 games, 2 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. That's not bad for for the league in
Not
Europe
shabby.
this week. Yeah, so congrats to English League, and we look forward to the next round of games. And so that was it. So Alvias, if you have any opinion on these games, and probably you see things differently from the way we have seen it, let's know in the comment section, and let us know which game you enjoyed most this midweek. Was it the Arsenal game? Was it the City game? Was it United, almost putting off a surprise draw or win at the Alliance Arena? Or are you more encouraged by the bravery and the strength that Newcastle showed in Italy, coming back with a point against AC Milan? Let us know, and we'll talk about it in the next show.